Yeah, this is Point Black, coming in hard and off the card, coming with the flow straight from the barrel, and coming with that heat from the damn street. This is PBNN Point Black National News, the late and the great edition, and the ghetto edition as well, because this, is what we must do. You know what I'm saying? Now today, we're going to pick up where we left off on PBNN Point Black National News, the late and the great edition, the ghetto edition, the flow from the barrio, the heat from the streets, and the facts of crack ballads, and the boom bit to that lying-ass lips. This is PBNN Point Black National News, the late, the great edition, and the ghetto edition as well. Because this is what we must do in all ways. You know what I'm saying? In all ways. We got to find the truth in the matters and not just feed the beast. You know what I'm saying? Now, we're going to pick up, like I was saying before, where we left off. I'm a berry juicer. And we were speaking on the fact of the matter of the nuclear nonsense that's going on. And we were speaking about the aftermath of what's going on based on what you saw in our other clip, if you viewed it, which you don't have to, it's your choice. And we were speaking on aftermath after the nuclear weapons had been dropped and the war was over. I don't see there's no such thing, because if we all shoot nuclear weapons, we could kiss any life on planet goodbye. But we were speaking on the humanitarian efforts that would have to come even if people did survive, which they're going to survive to what? You know what I'm saying? Unless they have a secret place to have a hospital, dentist, and all types of, places to get the medicines and stuff that you're going to need. And if you're lucky to beat radiation poisoning, you know what I'm saying? And all types of shit going on. Now, when we look at the humanitarian efforts, this is the aftermath of what they call their so-called holy Armageddon, you know what I'm saying, apocalypse bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And this is where the people have to step up. But in the fact of the matter, we're going to discuss even after. It says the humanitarian efforts would be overwhelming by the scale of devastation. Okay? But just by the scale of the devastation alone, you know what I'm saying, this aftermath is going to be sick. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there will be nothing left, as we would say it. But it's going to be an overwhelming, the humanitarian efforts would be overwhelming by the scale of the devastation and the long-term health effects of radiation exposure. Now, they're saying, let's hold it right there, they're saying that aftermath, the humanitarian efforts would be overwhelmed by the scale of the devastation and the long-term health effects of radiation exposure. Well, didn't I just tell you that before? Common sense should tell anyone that, because when we're looking at a nuclear weapon, everybody thinks they're looking at just a regular bomb or a huge bomb. It's not just a huge bomb. It packs radiation heat, radiation poisoning, and all types of shit. Probably even some of them packing diseases and all types of shit. But the power of the bomb itself, in itself, will level New York City to the ground. And it will also level damn near all of Long Island. You know what I'm saying? Don't let them fool you. This is why Obama making these shitty Luciferian films. But at the same time, it would level all of that. Is they telling you that? And then if that bomb hit center into New York, you know what I'm saying, and level New York to the ground, make it look like it was never there, and then even after the aftermath, you know what I'm saying, the radiation would be devastating, you know what I'm saying, in long-term effects of radiation exposure. So on top of getting incinerated, what we call obliterated, you know what I'm saying, if you can survive something like that, the radiation alone in the area will kill you. That's number two. Number three, with the soot and the different shit that it shoots into the air and this and that, it would even cause the sun to get even more hotter. On top of radiation being hot and would incinerate you to dust in seconds, you know, they trying to say that there was going to be long-term exposure, like there's a survival rate. You know what I'm saying? But the effects of the radiation, you know what I'm saying, exposure would pose a significant challenge. You know what I'm saying? The global economy would be severely disrupted. There would be no global economy, period. Period. So you could give up on thinking about a global economy. There will be no global economy. What they're going to be is straight anarchy and dictatorship, probably. You know what I'm saying? Killing, murdering, everything they want to do to people with a corrupted, shitty ass mind, rather than rebuild and be strong. You know what I'm saying? But it would pose significant challenges. You know, the global economy would be severely disrupted with widespread implications of trade, food, security, wide implications for food, for trade, food, security, and energy supplies. Geopolitically, the world would face increased tension. You know what I'm saying? You know, potential power vacuums, anarchy, like I said, because they like chaos. You know what I'm saying? Anarchy and the risk of further conflict. You know what I'm saying? Of conflict. The risk, anarchy, and the risk of further conflict. Nuclear weapons produce damaging radiation which kills or sickens those exposed, poison, those that are exposed, poisons the environment, and has long-term health consequences for humans, such as cancer, genetic damage, which means your baby might be growing an arm out of his back, or have 5 legs, you know what I'm saying? Let's just be honest. And when they talk about cancer, that comes from radiation. That's why I don't understand why they give people radiation when they already have cancer. You know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying, I guess to speed the process along or something. But, killing you softly with their song. But, you know, genetic damage, environmental effects would include radioactive fallout, a radioactive fallout, a global cooling of the Earth's atmosphere, the soot and the smoke ejected into the Earth's atmosphere would lead to a nuclear winter. You know how cold that is, which would cause the atmosphere. I guess the winter, which would cause a significant drop in global temperature, possibly by more than 40 degrees, and that's a lot, you know, Fahrenheit. Crops fail, and widespread famine, starvation. Let's just be honest. Famine is more of a watered down bullshit word. Let's just say it the way we know it. Starvation. You know what I'm saying? The overall death toll over the long term, as as the aftermath unfolds, you know what I'm saying, in itself, would be catastrophic. Would be catastrophic. So all these people that's voting for Joe Biden and all these elected officials, and this is where they put us into this mess, saying our United States, and all of us involved in the bullshit that they're doing, leading us down Shitterman Trail, and then saying we all agree just because you are up on the podium speaking. You're not speaking for the world as a whole, and I hope the world isn't letting no leader speak for them as a whole. You know what I'm saying? Unless he is speaking what the people and the people have agreed on. These leaders in these damn times figure they speak for you with their carnal, crooked, twisted, crackhead brain. You know what I'm saying? Fucking fool. You know what I mean? And sitting up there speaking for the people. Same thing we see with the LGBTQ. You know what I'm saying? As if you spoke for everyone, and then you push the shit on bathrooms and every place you could possibly think of bringing this non-cynical nonsense and saying that we all should agree. Should agree to what? Okay. But at the same time, as it unfolded, it became catastrophic. The recent study in the journal, Nature Project, but we're talking about nuclear weapons. Okay, the journal Nature Project, that over 5 billion people could starve to death due to the impact on agriculture, which means crops ain't growing, you ain't getting no farm food, no, and many other agriculture from black carbon smoke. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And temperatures drop, particularly at the high latitude. You know what I'm saying? Where most of the smoke would remain. Some island countries like Australia, New Zealand, Iceland, and the Solomon Islands, you know what I'm saying, and I think it's called Vanuatu or whatever, might have a better chance of producing enough food for their population, not every population, you know what I'm saying, for their population, you know what I'm saying, in more ways than one. After such a catastrophe, you know what I'm saying, the southern hemisphere in general might fear a little, it might fear a little better than the north, where the vast numbers of nuclear strikes would occur, would have happened. Isolated pockets of rural areas, you know what I'm saying, our isolated pockets of rural areas in the northern hemisphere, you know what I'm saying, far enough away from any target of value, might also emerge as a safe haven for survival. Yeah, and tell me where that is, you clown motherfucker. We should not even be discussing any of this based on human life and based on those you elect to be leadership in your country. To be involved in the ramping up of a nuclear war by using the criminal organization and gathering of 31 nations in the criminal organization that you have joined, you know what I'm saying, to do this to the people. And then you're making it seem like we all agree. We don't even agree with what the fuck going on in the Gaza Strip. We don't agree with what went on in Africa. We don't agree what you did to black people. We don't agree what you did to Arabs. We don't agree what you did to the Arabs. And the Arabs did to other people as well, and black people did to whatever. We ain't with that bullshit no more, and people should be way past that nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Even I hear a lot of little kids arguing with each other and talking about go back to Africa because all y'all do is eat chicken and watermelon. Well, I got news for you here on Long Island. When you go to Texas Chicken and many of these different places, what do you see? Nothing but white people, and they're sucking that chicken down and double dipping. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. You know, who the fuck you don't like chicken and watermelon, you stupid ass. You dumb motherfuckers believe some shit like that. What are and what are the chances, getting back to the issue, what are the chances of it happening? What are the chances of a nuclear war actually happening? The risk of nuclear war has increased, you know what I'm saying, dramatically in recent years as the US and Russia have abandoned long-standing nuclear arm control agreement. What arm control motherfucking agreement is your lying bitch ass them talking about? Under the so-called nuclear arms control agreement, you increase your nuclear stock by 100-fold. So the fuck is you talking about? You know, so you talk about nuclear an agreement and start to develop new kinds of nuclear weapons. Of course, like I said, Moscow has been testing, you know what I'm saying, redditorially nuclear strike capabilities, and recently pulled out a nuclear test ban. They pulled out of the nuclear test ban treaty. What treaty? Because you said the United States, no, the people who in there with that Luciferian Baphomet stupid ass that you keep voting for is the one who was still testing nuclear weapons as well. So you got nerve to say Russia pulled out of it, America or whoever chumped it up, this treaty, never honored it anyway. So you have no room to speak about other countries being involved in the pulling out of the nuclear test ban treaty. Let's just be honest. You know what I'm saying? Now listen to the. This is you. This is you they're talking about. Listen to the psychology. It's saying the U.S. Again, we must ask ourselves, who is they talking about? The common people, the general people, all of us put together, which we don't agree with that, and you know it because y'all could barely get the fuck along or even come to some kind of understanding of who to vote for in a situation when the situation has gotten too bad. You have allowed them to manipulate your mind, and now everything that Trump said is true. And now you're facing everything that should have been, that should have not have been in this matter. So when he says the U.S. has been focusing on modernizing its nuclear weapons, first of all, I'm going to ask this question, who the fuck would agree with something like that? Knowing the devastation that it could do to life on this here fucking planet as a whole, and even your life and your children's life, and your grandchildren and your children after that. Remember, they are an extension of you when you're gone. You planning to wipe them out because you agree that the U.S., you know what I'm saying, is focusing on modernizing its nuclear arsenal. But you just sat here and said to me that many of them, Moscow, Russia, has pulled out of the nuclear test ban treaty. The treaty is just a talk. The treaty is just a bullshit on paper that you all put on paper and say that you have a right to do this because you did this on paper. You know what I'm saying? But you're not speaking for all the people in the land mass of the country in which they live. You're talking about you. You're talking about these elected officials who somehow cheat their way into the chief of command seat and have been doing all type of nasty garbage you wouldn't believe. We really don't want to talk about us either because we might throw up. Now, and you just sit here. Now you turn around and said, you know what I'm saying? Russia has and continued engage in nuclear saber or whatever rattling during the outgoing conflict in Ukraine. No, there is no conflict in the Ukraine. Well, I don't know why people keep saying that. Why you keep trying to pull the United States or the people of the country you call the United States and its citizens into believing that this is a just war and not a war that you chunked up in the first fucking place.